Hi Flosstube. Welcome back to Coco the Creative. I'm Coco and this is Flosstube number 4. So I'm going to try not to go too slowly because I have a lot to cover. But I have all my notes right here in my trusty little journal. So I'm just going to kind of go through my outline. One of the things that I completely did not go over in the past 3 floss tubes is the like the important details of my whips. Um, I just kind of glossed over them as I was going through my first whip parade, and I want to kind of be more thoughtful about how I tell you about my whips, and also like how I stitch them, like what kind of tools I use to stitch with and different things. Okay, so the rooster, which is finished, it's actually over there in that corner. I'm not going to get it. I've shown it off several times at this point, but my rooster, I think when I first filmed myself, I said that he was 14 count. He's not. He was actually 11 count on 8 of cloth, and I used 3 strands. Now, I'm telling you this because the whip that I replaced the rooster with, because the rooster is now a finish, it's now an FFO. The whip that I replaced the rooster with, the pumpkins, which I'll show my progress on later, they are the same kind of, it's the same setup. It's 11 count Ada. It's roughly the same size as the rooster, and called for was to use 3 strands, but I'm actually doing something different this time. I'm only using 2 strands of floss on the pumpkins, and that is because I noticed with the rooster I really had to like shove my needle into the fabric, and it was just like my hands just worked really hard, and I was just like, I just want to make it a little, I don't usually like 8 of cloth is just tough. Like it comes stiff a lot of the times. Like it's not a very delicate fabric to work with, and I don't usually mind that. But I was just like, I want to make it a little bit easier on myself, so I decided to go with 2 strands instead of 3 for this particular count and whatnot, and it's actually been going really good. So I'll show you the progress on that later. My koi pond is on 14 count Ada as well, and I am using 2 strands with that. It's very nice. It's very kind of easygoing stitching. My tea time sampler, I think I did get into a little bit more details about this, but since we're going through all of my whips, I'm just going to talk about it again. It is on 28 count cashel linen, 2/1. And I think for my next sampler, I want to go with a higher thread count, like a 32, possibly 40. But I'm fine with this. It's a little harder to kind of see what I'm doing because the fabric is so dark. So I need a lot of light to work on this particular piece, but that's what I'm doing with that one. The Turtle Quaker is on 32 count linen. I actually, because I started the Turtle Quaker a couple of different times, I'm actually going to close my curtain because I noticed that the leaves are rustling. Things are passing by my house, and I do not want to distract you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the Turtle Quaker, because I've restarted it like a couple of times, I do not remember the type of linen that it's on. It's something that you can find at Amazon or something. Also 2/1. And yeah, those are all of my current whips. I do have a new start, so I'll go over the details on that one when I'm on my whip progress. And then I also wanted to point out that I don't, with my stamped crosses, I use the sewing method. Um, I just like it. I like it the best. And like with my larger, like my 9 count, um, like Ada pieces, I pinch the fabric most of the time so that all the holes line up, and I do it like that. I really like the sewing method. There are some downsides to it. With the sewing method, it is much easier to go from to stitch from left to right, right to left, and top to bottom. If you like are filling in, you know, some color and you find yourself at the bottom of a cell and you need to go back up, that's when it can be a little trickier, and you just have to kind of get used to it. But a way around that is rotating the fabric so that you're always stitching from top to bottom. Um, my 9 count pieces, are like really large, so I don't always want to turn the fabric. So sometimes I just stitch from the bottom, and it's a little awkward, and sometimes I just carry so that I don't have to stitch from bottom to top. So yeah, but like I like using the sewing method because I can that like most like when I do most of my stitching at night, it's on stamped pieces because it's less looking at the pattern, and I can kind of turn my brain off, and I can stitch anywhere. I can stitch in my bed, on the couch. Um, yeah. And then a lot of times with my other pieces, I use hoops. I've never used a Q-snap before, and I've never used like, I don't know if it like the square hoop. Is that also kind of called a Q-snap? I'm not sure. I've never used a square hoop and I've never used a Q-snap, and I've never used a scroll thing. I just haven't used any of the other apparati aside from wooden hoops, which they work for me for now. So I don't know if I'm going to switch over anytime soon. Um, yeah, so let me get started on showing you my progress. I've got some stitchy stuff here, sitting here. So Titus, I got this trio of Titus pieces from Etsy from a shop called Needle Minder Lair. And the first one I wanted to do was Titus Among Bubbles, and um, he has his blitz ball like tucked under his arm. So I've only been working on this for I think 2 or 3 days, and I got the outlines of some of the bubbles done, and we're working on his hair right now. This has been really fun. I turn on like the Final Fantasy X soundtrack as I'm working on it, and I just have very warm feelings as I'm working on this, and I can't wait until the picture comes out a little bit more. And some notes on this: it is 14 count Glacier Ada from 123 Stitch, and I got all of my floss from 123 Stitch as well. And the examples just had like different had the finished product on different types of backgrounds. So I just decided to select my own floss, and I was a little worried that the blue in the bubbles and like in his blitz ball weren't going to show up well on this fabric, but it's showing up fine, and they're going to be filled in too, so they're going to pop more after I add the white in the different, I think it's like a darker blue inside the bubble. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself with that. And I use 3 strands. I was kind of surprised. I thought it would want me to use 2 strands on this, but I'd like the 3 strands. It's like pixel art style, which is kind of blurry and, you know, bumpy looking anyway, so I think it fits just fine. Okay, now for some friends that you guys are familiar with, I have my koi pond. I call it the Box and Fox koi because it's from Box and Fox on Etsy. Yeah. You can probably see the progress, but I've gotten a lot more of this lily pad done, and I finished, this whole section is just a little water blob that I finished, and I don't think I've added any more of the koi fish itself, but yeah, I got a lot of this lily pad done. Yeah, I'm almost done with page 1. I'm very proud of myself. And I've been working on that one like almost every day, so also proud of myself for that. Because I took a really big break from this. Like I went to Mexico um, with my husband to Tulum, and I brought this and I worked on this a lot in Mexico. And after that, I was like, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at this. So it's relieving to me that I came back to this piece and started working on it again. All right. Next, I want to talk about my pumpkins. This is one of my newer WIPs. Not much done here. I can show you the back so you can see a little bit my progress a little bit better. But yeah. So I'm trying something a little different here. And usually I just start in the corner, but this time I decided, because this is a seasonal stitch and I just don't want there to be a lot of pressure to like finish the stitch in this one seasonal, like in this one season or anything like that. And I have to start in a certain corner, blah, blah, blah. I'm just hopping around. It's just pumpkins. So I just picked a pumpkin and I'm working on that pumpkin. And I also think that if I complete an entire pumpkin and, oops, my project bag just fell on the ground. If I complete an entire pumpkin by the time fall is over, I think that'll just be really nice, because then when I come back to this, I'll have something completed to look at when I'm working on the next part of it. Yeah, so those are my pumpkins. Okay, what's next? Turtles. My turtle Quaker. I haven't worked on this one as much, and I'm not trying to stress out about my samplers, because I am going to participate in Sampler September, where I focus a lot more on my samplers. Also, I can only really work on my samplers when the light is really good, and also when I'm the most alert. I can't work on them when I'm sleepy, and I can't work on them in the dark, even when I have my light, my little neck light. It just drains me. Sometimes I can, if I'm like really determined to get some progress made, but I usually just get like one row of stitches done, and just to like make myself feel better. I don't work on it like as seriously as I would when the sun is out and I'm like at my desk alert. Okay. So I don't know if this little leaf was done. This is the edge of the page, by the way. So yeah. So I've worked from one side to the other side, but I haven't filled out the bottom of the page yet. There's a lot of turtles. This is like the top of the head of like I think the largest turtle on the piece is like the central turtle. But yeah, I got a good amount of his shell done. I wish I was done with this part of his shell, but we're getting there. Like I said, I'm going to really focus on my samplers during Sampler September. That's the goal. But I do enjoy working on this when I can. Okay, last WIP. Okay, before I talk about my new haul. This is my Tea Time sampler by, I keep forgetting the name of It's daily pattern stitching or something like that on Etsy. Oh, I think I forgot to say where. Okay, I got the turtle Quaker from Owl Forest on Etsy. I got their pattern on Etsy, and I got everything else myself. And then the pumpkins are from Dream Stitch. They're from Asia. So I don't know any other information beyond that. Okay, so yeah, this is my tea time sampler. Am I holding this right? Yes. And this motif is just one big, I don't know what to call it, like a, because there's like a name for like things in this style. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of this for a while. Like every time I show off my progress, it's going to be this pattern over and over again. But yeah, and this is the one that's kind of hard to read because it's so dark. It doesn't look that dark, but it's very dark fabric. Um, but I am still enjoying myself. And this is like a big project. It's a long project, so I'm just not, I'm just kind of I'm just going with the flow. Just emptying my brain as I put those stitches in. Oh, and a recent development, I sutured the edges myself. Don't know what I'm doing. I made it look cuter by the time I got to here. I figured out a less ugly way to do it. Slightly less ugly than how I had it before. But yeah, one of my pet peeves is when I get fabric and the edges are not sutured. I don't mind it on Ada so much, but like linen, I hate it. I hate when the edges are just all over the place. Oh, and then with this one, they suture one side and then they leave the other three sides just crazy. It's not fair. Anyway, okay. Oh no, I have one more WIP to show you before I talk about my new haul. It's the underwater tapestry. Let me go get this big boy. Okay, I'm gonna try really hard. I do have some parked threads on here, so excuse those, but you can clearly see my progress made. I finished the pink shark. It's a shark. At first I thought it was a dolphin, and then I was like, oh, because of the dorsal fin, but then I was like, oh, dolphins have beaks, so it has to be, except for orcas. Did you guys know that? Orcas are the largest species of dolphin. They're actually not whales. Killer whale is a misnomer. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was a kid, so I know all these random facts about cetaceans that nobody cares about. So then I was like, it has to be a porpoise because it doesn't have like a beak. And then I stitched the thing and I'm like, wait a second, are those gills? It's a shark. It was a shark this whole time. So anyway, this pink shark is done. So who says that you can't discover interesting things on stamped crosses? You 100% can. Because I did not see that in the pattern. But yeah, and then what I've been doing is usually I bounce around on the coral, but this time I picked a hard line. I stayed under it and I've just been going column by column and making my way over. And I think it looks really cool. Um, but yeah, I have also done some top part of this. It's not as noticeable because it's just like a lot of the same. It's just a bunch of greens. But I worked on the tree and I'm doing my same method with the tree. I'm trying to go cell by cell, column by column. I added more border to the tree because I just kind of I like stitching within the border. But yeah, that is the progress I made. Yesterday I stitched on this all day long on my new couch because we just moved into our house. We've been waiting on our couch to come in. It came in earlier this week, and my kids were both at camp, and I had a moment to breathe, and I just stitched and stitched and stitched, and it was so lovely. I'm going to take a sip of water. Water break. Sorry, I'm like really thirsty. Okay, now I get to talk about my new haul. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me give a little preface here. I was planning out my potential focus pieces and potential rotations, WIP rotations for the rest of the year, going into the new year. And when I got to February, I realized I had some options. I was thinking, oh, I kind of want to do a Black History Month piece, or at least I want to dedicate one of my pieces to Black History Month. And I have one that I got from Box and Fox on Etsy, like way, way, way a long time ago, that I think would be a good Black History Month little piece. And I was thinking about giving it to my mom. And then I was like, but wait, it's Valentine's Day. What about Valentine's Day? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll have the guts to participate in a sal. Like I know that they have Valentine's Day related sals out there. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do both. And then I remembered it is my birthday month. I was born on the 7th of February, same as Charles Dickens. Yeah, very good author. Um, but yeah, so I'm like, oh man, I gotta do something. I gotta at least get myself something for my birthday, like a special stitch or something. And that's exactly what I did last year. I got the underwater tapestry for my birthday, and it was very much, it was like the most I'd ever paid for cross stitch, and it wasn't that much. I think that was like $30 or something, but it was like shipping, handling, and everything. I was like, okay, this is the most I've ever paid. I've paid much more since then for like everything together. But yeah, I just indulged, and I just didn't I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm done stitching this. Now I know, but at the time I was like, I just really want to stitch this. So I kind of wanted to go into my birthday stitch with the same mentality. Like, it is for you to indulge yourself. The holidays will be over. Where I live, February is still very cold. We still get snow in February. It's like it sucks. It's like it's winter, but there's no holidays to look forward to, and you're just like waiting. You're just waiting for winter to be over. February is like not fun here. Um, so I have to like make my own fun. I have to make it special for myself. Um, so I'll be done with all of my like seasonal stitching, and I'll be just in that weird waiting for spring mode. So I feel like I want to give myself something to get really excited about. And I'll be inside all day. So there's not going to be much to do except stitch. Um so I was just looking around, and I remember Crafty Gaming Jamie had completed this really cool piece of Kita from Atlantis, the Lost City of Atlantis, the Disney film. If any of you guys were around when that came out, which is a very underrated film. It's super good, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have Kita. Like, I wonder who else they have. And I went to makeitpink.net, and the artist Hannah Alexander, she has just a repertoire of different characters from different shows and games and interests and movies, done in this Art Nouveau style. And they have like it's just like very detailed, it's very layered, and I was just very captivated by every all of the different characters that I saw, and I was just like, oh man, I have to pick one. And I think I was drawn to Pocahontas because Pocahontas was like is one of my favorite like Disney princesses, and this Pocahontas on the site was much more historically accurate and made me feel more comfortable about stitching her. Their Moana is really gorgeous too. I saw Tiana on there, and she's like in the like 1920s flapper, like Gatsby style. It looks so cool. And I love Art Nouveau. I actually have one of my like, I don't know if you remember, but like one of my goals is to stitch every flower that I've successfully grown. And one of the flower pieces that I have in my stash of nasturtium is in the Art Nouveau style. So I just really, yeah, I love Art Nouveau. I've always loved Art Nouveau, even before I started like stitching or whatever. And the piece from Hannah Alexander's collection that I selected is Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. uh, and what else? What do I have to say about Sokka? Yeah, he's my favorite character from Avatar. Like, he's been my favorite character for Avatar for a really long time. He's like a comfort character for me. Um, I just love that everybody else has powers and he he bails them out of so many situations with just his boomerang. Like he does not have any bending skill. I laugh at all his dumb jokes. Like I love Sokka. I love his character design, and Hannah Alexander has like kind of recreated his warrior outfit, and I'm just so excited to get my hands on this. I think he will be challenging. He has a lot of requirements, fractional stitching, beading, which I've never done before, but I knew I wanted to eventually try. Working with Krynic for the first time, and fuzzy stuff floss, which honestly just looks so fun. I think that it goes in his like collar because he's got fur in his collar and like the top of his boots and stuff. So, ooh, I can't wait. That's just that the contrast, the fuzziness contrasted with the smoothness of the threads and the sparkliness of the Krynic. That's gonna look so fire, guys. Like, oh my goodness. Um, so the picture that I put up is actually a mock-up. The background is the fabric that I'm going to be stitching him on. I was really worried that I was going to pick the wrong fabric to go with him because he has, there's like red undertones in his, like the leather parts of his clothing and also in his skin. Um, and also his skin is darker. So I was afraid if I went too dark with the fabric, um, it just like there would be it wouldn't pop the way that I wanted it to. So I went on Canva because I use Canva to do like to make my promo cards for my books when I'm promoting myself online, and I just tried him out on different uh, fabrics that I was just looking up on 123 Stitch, and then I settled on this 18 count mint Ada fabric from 123 Stitch. And so it hasn't come in yet. I've ordered that, and I've ordered all the like flat colors. They're currently out of all the Krynic that I need. Go figure. I don't plan on stitching this until February, but I just was like, okay, I'll just order the stuff like as it becomes available, and there's not really any rush. I did want to go ahead and get the fabric though, and I was like, you know what, let me just get the stuff that I'm going to be doing like full crosses on and stuff like that. So that on my birthday, all I have to do is open my craft cabinet and take him out. and I think I'm going to order the beads at the very end. Crafty Gaming Jamie, I think she did her beading on Kita when she was done with everything else. So I'm just gonna like follow in her footsteps and do that at the end. There's also two different ways I can get the beads. I can order it through Hannah Alexander's reference, so I can get the exact number of the beads that I need, which is obviously less wasteful and probably a little cheaper. But or I might just be like, no, we're just gonna add them to the cart on 123 Stitch because it's just easier. We'll see. We'll see what mood I'm in by the time I have to beat him up. But yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, I'm super excited for this stitch. And I'm super happy for future me. Happy birthday, future Coco. You are welcome. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's kind of all that I have for you today. Um, Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about my whips, what you think about my new haul, my new start. If you're working on anything similar, like let me know. Please like this video if you like the videos, subscribe, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.